5 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. 30 points for Norman Powell. James Harden had 23 and 7 assists. The Clippers are back at the Intuit Dome tonight against Minnesota. The Lakers are at Miami tonight. A lot of eyes will be on LeBron to see if he can shake his shooting slump. LeBron is 0 for 19 on three-pointers in the Lakers' last 4 games. Another milestone for USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. The sophomore from Compton set a school record last night with 9 three-pointers in USC's win over California Baptist. Watkins finished with 40 points. USC, ranked 6th in the country, is 7-1. 3 more HBCU football programs are looking for a new head coach after making dismissals: Shaw University, Delaware State, and Alabama A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Yesterday somebody whacked out my mural. That energy'll make you move to Europe. But it's regular for me, yeah, that's for sure. The love and hate is definite without a cure. All this talk is made, that's on my lord. I kill them all before I let them kill my joy. I done been through it all, what you endure. It used to be that, but now it's plural. Everybody that's on my body. My blick first, then God got me. I watch them pander with them backhanded compliments. Put their head on the Cuban link as a monument. I pay homage and I always mind my business. I never lost who I am for a rap image. There's motivation if you wonder how I did it. Yeah, going up your rank. Know you a god even when they say you ain't. Yeah, keep your feelings out the way. Never let no one put smut up on your name. Yeah, keep your head down and work like I do. But understand, everybody ain't go like you. Yeah, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagements, I'ma guide you.
KBLA Talk 1580. And we will be talking momentarily with Pastor Q about his experiences on yesterday, as the protests are already ramping up here in the city of Los Angeles. I imagine there are similar patterns going on across the country. I know, for example, the progressive prosecutor in Alameda County was defeated this election cycle, a black woman who was similar to George Gascon, enacting policies that we, the voters, demanded. And we've already seen troubling trends before the terrible election outcome of November 2024. In fact, there was an independent review released about a week ago, of UCLA's response to student protests. And the report said that the measures they took were chaotic, the decision-making was bad, that they failed to protect students, which we saw, and it was interesting because they didn't protect pro-Palestinian students from attackers who came from off campus, which is insane, right? Because they've been harassing, moving around, arresting, and allowing police to intimidate and jail and even drag and in some cases beat students. But when off-campus protesters came, wearing masks in the middle of the night, police and security stood down and let the intruders beat students and attack students for hours before the police even responded. Well, this is that particular terrible, terrible incident is an example of the really repressive and I would argue unconstitutional response to student protests. This was under mostly Democratic County Board of Supervisors, mostly a Democratic mayor, mostly a supermajority of Dems in the state legislature here, and a Democratic president. I'll let that sink in. So what do we have to look forward to with this new MAGA Confederate Party in control of the Senate, the Congress, and the extreme court? The report said UCLA should develop a detailed incident response plan, designate a commander, improve police coordination, everything carceral. And of course, we know they famously appointed a new police chief of police for campus. This so-called independent report was done by a national law enforcement consulting agency. Can we get a report by a national constitutional consulting agency? Or by experts that specialize in the radicalization of youth and in censorship and what our rights are under American law, at least so far? It was stunning to me the way that protesters were silenced, punished through academic, different kinds of punishments, and also being targeted for their employment after college because of protesting what is now undeniably a genocide. And, I've struggled with this because why is this controversial to call it that when clearly there's an ethnic cleansing going on? Students came out across the country, and from Ivy Leagues to smaller public colleges, they were punished in very harsh, unconstitutional ways. And so what's next? We have in LA County, we have a new, what he calls himself a hard middle, what I call a MAGA centrist, which means he talks like a centrist and walks like a MAGA. That's what we have. He's made it abundantly clear on day one. And so what does this mean for protesters? Student protesters, of course, but also those who are affiliated with nonprofits, with activist organizations. We've already seen this bill brought up to allow the Department of Justice to take away the nonprofit status of any organization that it deems terrorist. Clearly, this is a nod to what's to come in terms of targeting activist organizations. Most of your, from your League of Latin American Citizens to Black Lives Matter Grassroots to the Urban League to the NAACP to Centro CSO, most of these activist justice organizations are nonprofits. And many of them, they may receive grants from foundations. They may be getting donations. And by the way, you can still give. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday, but we always late Wednesday is also a great day to give. So we'll look at that. protest in the new Confederate MAGA age with Pastor Q. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
So the thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it's uncomfortable to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. And only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for up to 8 hours for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price, however, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer, excludes 8-count packs.
I was so excited when I heard the sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Medicare open enrollment is here, and it's a time you can make changes to your health coverage. Yet, watch out for enrollment and marketing scams. Remember, Medicare will neither call you nor solicit your business. Guard your card. Never give out your Medicare number to strangers. Unsolicited calls, door-to-door visits, and emails are prohibited. Take your time. Don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. Report scams to our California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, I'm joined in the studio by Pastor Q, a.k.a. Stephen Jean-Marie. Is that how you say it?
Oui, Jean-Marie.
Okay.
Si vous parlez français.
I don't, but I'm planning to get on Duolingo.
It's Creole, really.
Something.
It's Creole. You know, you've got to put the African in there.
Okay, so Creole.
Yeah,
but
you say Creole, we say
do
Creole.
Do you code switch? Do you do standard Parisian French and then Creole, or just?
Nah, some of my family members speak
say
regular
it again.
French.
Creole, how do you say
Creole.
it? Creole.
Yeah, like my last name is Jean-Marie because all of that is just Ghanaian and French mix.
I gotcha. That's how we do it. We flip stuff.
Yeah, you know, whether you Haitian or St. Lucian or whatever. You know, it just depends on where the boat stopped.
Pretty much. Well, he's known affectionately as Pastor Q, former MC. I don't know if you're ever a former MC. I think it's like the mafia. Once you get in, you're never out.
Because MC means move the crowd, so you're always moving the crowd.
You're always moving the crowd with the college boys. But
that's what you do, right?
The pastor of the Church Without Walls, the Row, in Skid Row, and the founder of Creating Justice LA. Certainly you can see Pastor Q at protests from coast to coast.
Yeah.
Wherever you be at.
Wherever I'm at.
Yeah, and before we get into the chaos of yesterday, what's happening with the store?
Yes, actually, we are. There's always these things you have to deal with. So, the building is owned by Skid Row Housing Trust.
Oh,
actually, not Skid Row Housing Trust, but SRO, right?
Okay.
And so we had to go through the process of, getting the lease from the, they switching the lease and all of that stuff. So we had to begin the process from the beginning. So we're waiting on their attorneys to send us the lease. It's been approved from our end, from our perspective, our financials. But now they want to, their attorneys looking at it, and should be signing the lease in the next, I say within the next 30 days.
So hopefully Creating Justice LA will actually own that Skid Row store.
Yeah, in about maybe 2 weeks to a month.
Okay, so starting 2025.
Yeah.
You got to celebrate the victories, right?
Yes,
especially right now.
Indeed.
So we saw a new district attorney that most of us fought and organized against, but he won anyway with lots of money from police unions.
Absolutely.
So-called unions, cartels, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And we showed up on Monday to protest. They were supposed to have some kind of little shindig outside by the flagpoles. Apparently the
swearing in and all that.
Reportedly that moved inside. There was nothing there but protesters. There was over 50 of us, about 6 different organizations. Encountered no police, just passersby. But we were making it known.
Okay.
And then yesterday was the official swearing in, right, where Schwarzenegger showed up, and what happened?
Well, first of all, we couldn't even get close to the protest, right? They basically, when we got there, it reminds us of the previous district attorney, right? So they had the streets blocked, and police all around.
So it wasn't just the normal barricades that they have for some reason in front of the Hall of Justice. They actually blocked the streets.
Yeah, they blocked the street. They blocked Temple, right? They blocked Temple and had police officers lined up, right, even on the sidewalk. And they were waiting. They were waiting on us. And so they told us we couldn't be on that side of the street, even though folks were walking and even starting.
And it's a public sidewalk.
It's a public sidewalk. His explanation was that they got a permit to block the sidewalk. I'm like, the event is happening at the Hall of Injustice, right? That's not the real name, but at the Hall of Injustice, it's my name for it. But you guys are blocking the sidewalk, and I know through protest, even when we do things on the street, we have to leave a lane for folks to walk through, right? So you're breaking the law. Right, they pushed back against that. I said we asked them to show us the permit, and they showed us the permit, but he wouldn't allow us to take a picture of the permit. So we know whenever people are not being transparent, they're making up stuff as they go, right? Because that's what oppressive systems do. They make it up as they go. They're not really following the law.
So they actually blocked off the street. Monday we were able to get right up to the barricades because they had already moved whatever. There was nothing. Nobody was there, so they were like, fine, let them do their thing. Right. Certainly we made a statement, though.
Right.
But they had you far away where they couldn't even see or hear you.
Well, they heard us, and that's what I got the citation for, right? Because we had a bullhorn, and I got a rapper's voice, so we were letting them have it. And I guess they didn't like it. And they had amplified sounds where they were, right? A lot louder than us. But I guess they wanted to make a statement.
Were you able to see Jackie Lacey and, the new LAPD chief and all those folks that were there?
Yeah, we were across the street on Temple, right?
So you couldn't see anything.
Right by the courthouse. We could see them, right? But you can tell who it is, right? The only thing I can see, the picture that I saw when you look at a bird's eye view of the event was nothing but white people, right? Obviously, if you got some black folks in there.
Well, Jackie Lacey.
Yeah, there was nothing but white folks. There weren't community members who were represented, right? They'll say 1 or 2 black people, and then that means the community is represented, but not so.
So they came to you. They said you can't protest here. The street's blocked off. They move you across the street, and then what happens? Because the video I saw on Instagram, they're detaining you.
Yeah. So what happened was I was on the bullhorn. saying that Hochman is not like us, right? And he got to go, and whatever else was coming to mind. And they came and wanted to detain me. And before I could even respond, the police officer grabs my arm, right? And so the folks around me were trying to protect me. I'm like, no, let them do what they need to do, because I don't need anybody's life on my hand, right? I don't want anybody getting shot over this nonsense.
But did they tell you why they weren't going to detain you?
Well, they grabbed my arm, and it happened so quickly, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to let them know that, hey, I'm going to comply. Whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to take me to jail, whatever, I'm good, right? I'm not worried about it. So they grabbed my arm, and that's when everybody was trying to protect me. And I'm like, no, just let them do it. And he puts my arm behind my back, grabs me and put me in handcuffs, and he said, we're just pulling you away so that we can cite you for the amplified sounds.
So you have to handcuff me to cite me for amplified sounds?
Handcuff me,
wow.
Walk me across the street, right, for amplified sound. And I asked him, why do you need to handcuff me? Prior to that, they had grabbed Jason and handcuffed Jason.
Jason Reedy.
He was with his son.
People's City Council.
Right. He was pushing his son in the stroller, and they grabbed him. So we were looking out for his son because his son was there in a stroller. Obviously, you know, the reality is you can tell law enforcement has no relationship with the community, right? And the only community they protect are the people that look a certain way. Yeah. Right? And people that look like us, they just despise. Even the police officers that were doing this, all of them, with the exception of one, were Latinos.
Interesting.
Right?
And how did you read that?
And I told them, I said, this is like doing slavery when they would get enslaved people to whoop other enslaved people. Because that's what it felt like to me, right? They get you to do the dirty work. Right?
I mean, but the pictures I saw, they were completely non-responsive. They were not engaging with you guys much other than grabbing you.
Well, the officers were. They grabbed me, so that's a whole lot of engagement and pulled me across the street.
Yeah, but I'm talking about verbally, like you're telling them you're being like overseers, and they're just
exactly. They weren't
like zombies.
Yeah,
I mean, and you're a big guy. Like it's not like let's just grab this guy.
Right.
I mean, they were obviously on 10.
Right. A lot, and a lot of them are pretty small, right? So so I get it, right? I get it. And so that's why I told folks not to resist them, just let them do whatever they're going to do. So they brought me across the street, and the officer tried to explain, we're just going to cite you, whatever. And I'm like, but why do you need to put me in handcuffs?
But when did a bullhorn become amplified sound?
Yeah, they make up these rules as they go, right? So obviously there's some times when you can't, and we've been doing this forever, right? But again, it's kind of like this whole pardoning thing, right? People do these things with discretion.
Yeah.
With their own discretion, right? And so when they want to create this atmosphere of we are in control, they do things like that.
I mean, honestly, there was a guy named Philip who called me yesterday saying he's sick of me complaining about DA Nathan Hochman and Trump. And honestly, he said, wait till they do something worth complaining about.
They already did it.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that happened before he was even elected. But this is what I'm talking about because, clearly these folks came in there with the agenda of shutting you guys down before you even started. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what you think this says about the way this district attorney and actually probably DAs across the country under the new Confederate MAGA Republican Party, how they will change because, to be honest, the reaction to the protests around Gaza have already been pretty harsh.
Well, first of all, it's not changing, right? They're going back to this tough on crime policy. Remember, I was at UCLA that Sunday before folks from outside of the campus attacked the students.
Right.
Right?
You were there. Well,
I was
right.
there, and one of the Zionists said to me, you know, we're Israeli Jews, we're not American Jews. I will slit your throat, right? They said that.
To you.
To me.
Yeah, we're not American Jews. We will slit your throat.
Right. If you stand against us, we will slit your throat.
That's crazy.
Right? So we know that this is a MAGA agenda. We know that it's a white supremacist agenda, and we know they're going to come hard, right? That's why we're preparing, because it's not something new. It's something we've experienced before.
Yeah, that is true. I just, for me, because we were already in such a repressive kind of response, especially to the student protesters under a Democratic mayor, a Democratic president, a mostly Democratic LA County Board of Supervisors, a Democratic governor, a supermajority of Dems in the California legislature. Where do we go from here?
Do you want my opinion? My honest opinion?
That's the question.
Well, I always say that sometimes the worst people you can have in a white supremacist system are black folks. Because oftentimes, not all folks, but oftentimes some black folks feel like they have to perform for massa. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Sometimes they feel like in order to stay in the system, they have to compromise. And the easiest thing to compromise are the freedom of their own people, because they know they'll be received back.
So you could say that, I mean, if you're referencing the black legislature or the mayor, but Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden don't fall under that category.
Yeah,
and
but,
when you look
they're white men.
Yeah.
And the system was created by white men for white men. And so it doesn't matter where a broken clock, they say, is right twice a day. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Yeah, Joe Biden is going to play politics when he needs to, right? But he's still a white man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm surprised by that.
Right.
But I'm like, it kind of, the analogy, and we only have a minute and a half here to lose traffic and sports. We'll continue on the other side.
Right.
The analogy for me is Gaza. Like, a lot of people voted against Biden or against Harris because of Gaza. But now the president-elect has appointed Mike Huckabee to be over that, who has once been quoted saying there's no such thing as a Palestinian.
Right.
So we're talking about next level fascism, next level repression. And so, you know, I while you're saying that we've seen it before, and clearly that's true, I just wonder what we should be expecting.
Oh, we should be expecting worse, right? The worst is yet to come. I mean, and we'll talk about this on the other side. But remember, I'm on the Interfaith Clergy Board for the current district attorney, right? They don't even know that. Okay? When they were handcuffing me, they didn't know that, right? And so it shows you the contrast between this current district attorney, who's still, I guess, still in office, and the one that's coming in. So there's a contrast.
Yeah, well, I think starting the minute they swore him in yesterday, he's in. So.
Right. Okay, so he's in,
so
right? But yeah,
he's
and
made a bunch of stupid pronouncements already.
And by email, I gave my resignation from the Interfaith Clergy Board because I'm not doing anything. I'm not hanging out with that guy. I'm not.
More on that when we come forward, because the new DA put out a really interesting social media post yesterday.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Kash Patel, Trump's FBI nominee, was reportedly targeted by Iranian hackers who accessed some of his communications. Other members of Trump's inner circle have also been targeted by foreign hackers recently. Sheng Huawen, a Chinese national living in California, was arrested for allegedly sending weapons to North Korea. The DOJ says he hid weapons in shipping containers and is in the U.S. illegally after overstaying his student visa. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol has lifted martial law, initially declared due to opposition parties' alleged sympathies with North Korea. Yoon cited the need to safeguard against North Korean threats. And short bursts of daily activity like carrying groceries or climbing stairs can significantly improve heart health. A new study found that men saw a 16% decrease in heart disease risk, while women saw over a 50% decrease. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on the holidays' most fun gifts, all for under $15. Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In-store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at macy'sbackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers won their 9th straight home game last night. They beat Portland 127-105 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. 30 points for Norman Powell. James Harden had 23 and 7 assists. The Clippers are back at the Intuit Dome tonight against Minnesota. The Lakers are at Miami tonight. A lot of eyes will be on LeBron to see if he can shake his shooting slump. LeBron is 0 for 19 on three-pointers in the Lakers' last 4 games. Another milestone for USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. The sophomore from Compton set a school record last night with 9 three-pointers in USC's win over California Baptist. Watkins finished with 40 points. USC, ranked 6th in the country, is 7-1. 3 more HBCU football programs are looking for a new head coach after making dismissals: Shaw University, Delaware State, and Alabama A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Medicare open enrollment is here, and it's a time you can make changes to your health coverage. Yet, watch out for enrollment and marketing scams. Remember, Medicare will neither call you nor solicit your business. Guard your card. Never give out your Medicare number to strangers. Unsolicited calls, door-to-door visits, and emails are prohibited. Take your time. Don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. Report scams to our California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. The Equinox EV and all-new Equinox, America's best compact SUV for new vehicle quality by J.D. Power, offer both confidence and style to see you through the holiday season. It's easy to see why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Award based on 2024 models. For J.D. Power 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Study award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Stephen Q. Jamawi is with me in studio. Pastor Q is how he's known. Church Without Walls. You guys are still collecting money to be able to pay for that community store on Skid Row. Where can people donate?
Creatingjustice.la. Go to the donate button. Make it happen.
What happened to Reedy? Did they release him? Like
yeah,
I saw they had him too.
They released him, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes later.
Okay.
Yeah. But, they had to put the black men in the handcuffs to make a statement.
So, and what was the turnout like? What was the crowd like? What were you guys doing?
Yeah, so it wasn't a lot of us. It was about 10 of us.
Okay.
Right? But 10 of us still intimidated them, I guess.
Because the more people had come Monday.
Exactly.
Okay. And so they've made examples of you guys.
Exactly.
Do you have to pay a fine? Is it just
so
a
I
ticket?
got a court date on December 24th to go deal with the
Christmas Eve?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
That's just, you're a pastor?
Come on.
That's a lot.
Come on now.
We
know
ain't
how they
telling
work.
who might show up in court on Christmas
we know how this works, man, but we'll be ready.
That's insane.
I'm going to show up with all my friends.
With your
all our
congregation.
freedom fighters, all our freedom fighters.
and a little, nativity scene.
Yeah, we'll show up with Skid Row.
Are you going to bring 3 kings?
Yeah. We'll show up with some tents and some.
Are you kidding me? That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said it. I mean, we've seen the old footage of the fire hoses, and my own dad got his head busted open by Newark police and almost died in custody. So, yeah, you're right. It's not new. Mm-hmm. But how do you prepare? I mean, I feel like this whole generation of students is being radicalized even more by the stupidity and draconian, harsh, unconstitutional response to their exercising their constitutional rights.
Yeah, well, I mean, they say it all the time, right? If you push a cat, in a corner, eventually what's going to happen, right? And Dr. King talked about violence, right? He said he understood violence because, when you try to go through all the systems, and that's what we're trying to do as a people now, right? We're trying to go through the systems, right? We're trying to work with the systems. We're trying to go through the systems to get justice.
I.e. voting, lobbying for legislation,
all of that,
protesting,
public
boycotting.
policy, all of that, right? Even the work of organizing, right, and educating our folks on the issues. Because I still think Carter G. Woodson and Lauryn Hill is still relevant. The miseducation of the Negro, right?
Yeah.
It's we are not as educated as we need to be on this policy as a whole, right? We've got folks who are definitely doing some awesome work, but all of that stuff, and we see that the system continues to fail us. So I like the Black Panthers. They said all we're doing is survival in this system. So survival pending revolution is my motto, right? Survival pending revolution.
But survival apparently doesn't mean keeping your head down if you're going to every protest.
That means resist, right? Right? We have to continue to resist the system the best way we know how.
You don't feel discouraged?
Oftentimes I do, but Malcolm X said, I live like a man that's dead already. So discouragement is not an option. Plus, as a man of faith, I believe I got the light of Christ in me, and the light dims, but it never goes out. We always ready.
We're going to look at this social media post. We're going to do that when we come forward from the new DA. I think it's emblematic of what's going on with, what's to come. Mm-hmm. But when I saw the 2 immediate pronouncements, one, we're going back to these minor infractions, going after these minor misdemeanors, i.e. trespassing and possession.
Right.
I felt like those were targeting your congregation. I felt like the unhoused.
Yeah.
Because who's going to be trespassing? And like I said yesterday, who's going to be carrying around their drugs? Rich people keep theirs in their cupboards.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think we need to look at it from a broader perspective, right? We know that folks say that California and Los Angeles is ground zero for the resistance, but it's also ground zero for white supremacy, right? So what you're seeing is those two systems fighting against each other here in Los Angeles. The previous district attorney and before Gascon, and then now this new district attorney, right? We're seeing those two systems continue to go back and forth. So you got to realize that there's a boxing match happening, and we know that.
Jamal Hakeem says this DA can be recalled. Yeah, that's true, but recalls are super expensive.
Exactly.
And
tiring. Tricky, tiring, and all of that. And the reality is the majority of so-called progressive, right, folks who are trying to protect their home more than they're trying to protect people's bodies, right? You have those people who are voting for these folks. And a lot of our people, black people vote at a higher clip than most, but, a lot of it's going to take more people in the community. And then you also have to deal with the folks who are uneducated and joining MAGA from our
and when you talk about the miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson didn't have to deal with Instagram and Twitter.
Come on now.
Right, and so it's not just that we're uneducated, it's that we are being aggressively misinformed.
Come on.
Which is different than not knowing anything.
Right.
Because it means you think you know something.
But you don't really know.
Because MAGA and these Russian bots and these, and these, tech bros are actually actively implanting wrong information in your brain.
Perfect example, right? Crime has been going down.
Right.
Right? Overall. Obviously, there are some crimes that are higher and some that are lower, but crime has been going down overall. And this DA ran on the fact they ran on something that happened a few times. Yeah. Smash and grab.
Yeah.
Come on. They ran on those things, and they don't even, kind of like Donald Trump, they're not going to highlight the crimes that they do. The media, they own the media, so they focus on crimes that people of color do, and even if they're doing it at a lower clip than other folks.
Even if they're doing it as part of an organized crime ring.
Come on.
That is not run by us.
Right. Because Peter Harsh says everybody's talking about crime, but tell me, who are the criminals?
Yeah.
Right?
Jacqueline Anderson says, good morning, Pastor Q. Just glad you're okay after just arriving back in town. Yeah, good points all. But I think when you talk about your congregation, the row, the unhoused,
the most vulnerable,
between the selection of this new police chief, Jim McDonnell, and the election of this district attorney, which is part of a national backlash,
right?
A national rejection of progressive DAs. All the politicians are tiptoeing now, too, because Prop 36 passed, which means liberal California
is not liberal California. Right.
And we couldn't even pass Prop 6 to end prison slave labor.
Right.
So when you talk about, these politicians looking out for their own bodies or their jobs, and we're engaging in the system as it exists, but at what point do you say this isn't viable? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not viable, right? But at the same time, if there's a war going on and people are being injured, and you are as a pastor, you are somebody who's seen as a spiritual paramedic, what do, right? You have to serve the folks who are there. And
spiritual paramedic.
Yeah. So you have to continue to try to help this person stay alive while at the same time trying to fight the system, right? Because we can't just sit back and allow them to do what they do.
Yeah, and so if there's no recall, what's the point of the protest? What's the point of protesting if we're not going to get rid of the guy?
No justice,
and
no
we're not
peace.
going to be able to change his policies.
Right.
The reason that the DAs were able to block Gascon's reforms, which are really the people's reforms, is because so many of those conservative district attorneys were inside the office and they were able to resist from within.
Right.
Hochman is already transferring all Gascon's people out.
Right. But remember, we protested Jackie Lacey for 4 years, right? Well, I think 3 years straight, right? That's all we had, right? And we continued and we continued and we continued. But I say this.
She wasn't reelected.
And she was not reelected, right?
Yeah.
And we walked her neighborhood. We did all the things that we need to do. Obviously, there's a segment of our society that wants to go back to slave masters. They want to go back to those policies, the slave codes, and all of that stuff because they're trying to control us. That's why they get so angry when they see something that says Black Lives Matter, like a T-shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that there's that aspect of it. So I think we can still organize. Right, we can still continue to organize. We know that we brought them down before. We can bring them down before, and we didn't just bring them down because of our organizing. We knew that there was a spiritual component to it, and I believe that God helped us with that. Right?
Yeah, and I think it informs the people too.
Yeah,
and hopefully it gives them more pause about some of the policies.
Yeah, but here's something we can do. Right, local elections and local policies. We can work on getting because. It doesn't take as much votes to get folks elected on the local level as it does on an international level. Like we went against Kevin De Leon, right? We called him out, right? And the people were able to elect Isabel, right? So I think that we can, right, continue on the local level. Try not to, because the presidency and the national level and all of that stuff, that's huge. But there are certain, even in your own community, right, you can get folks elected that think like you do.
Indeed. We're talking with Pastor Q and you, KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on the holidays' most fun gifts, all for under $15. Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In-store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. The Equinox EV and all-new Equinox, America's best compact SUV for new vehicle quality by J.D. Power, offer both confidence and style to see you through the holiday season. It's easy to see why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Award based on 2024 models. For J.D. Power 2024 U.S. Industrial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And with Pastor Q, Church Without Walls. Look, if you want to donate to them owning their own store on Skid Row, which is more than a store, it's almost like a community haven, right? A safe space.
Yeah, to add to our Peace and Healing Center.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
By
You've
the
been
way.
there.
I have. Creatingjustice.la
Yes.
is where you can go to donate. You want to, the Healing Center, you guys have like open mics and
every Thursday night, open mic.
Anyone can come, right?
Yeah, anyone can come. We got a Healing Circle book club on Wednesdays. Yeah, we've got Freestyle Fridays where folks can do just hang out and play games and do whatever. We've got a healing room where folks can go in and meditate, sometimes even, sleep after they've been walking around all night long. Yeah, so. Yeah.
And where is it?
I've
been to it, but I'm bad with directions.
Yeah. It's 116 East 5th Street on the Nickel in downtown Los Angeles.
And that's the name for East 5th, that little stretch right there?
Yeah, the Nickel.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on that?
It's the hood. It's our hood. It's Skid Row. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord. Okay, so this is the little post, and that the new DA put up yesterday. It says, here are the changes he's implementing on day one of his administration. Restoring ability of prosecutors to pursue sentencing enhancements for defendants who use firearms in the commission of their crimes or whose crimes were committed for the benefit of criminal street gangs. Gang and gun enhancements, it to me is part of that throwback to 3 strikes.
Right on.
It means longer and longer sentences, fuller and fuller jails.
But they won't do anything about the banditos and all of the executioners, all of the gangs inside of the LASD, which is the LA Sheriff's Department. They won't do anything about that. We've been fighting them for over 3 years, right, with the ACLU and BLM and other folks. They ain't going to do nothing about that, but they want to enhance gangs stuff in our communities. And that's what I mean by this system, right? Because in the Kerner Commission talked about 2 Americas, a white one and a black one. That was way in 1967, and it is still the same today, right? They said we were moving towards 2 Americas, and we're living in those 2 Americas, especially when we look at the justice system or the injustice system, right?
And rescinding a prohibition against charging juveniles with misdemeanors for stealing merchandise valued at less than $950. Again, it's not on his little Instagram post, but again, he announced that he'll be going after trespassers and people for simple possession, not dealing drugs, but simply having them.
Yeah, well, and Trump can, not pay taxes. In 11 years, pay zero taxes, and nothing happens to him, right? So, again, 2 systems.
He said he intends to lead task forces dealing with homelessness, fentanyl, poisoning, human trafficking, hate crimes, and organized retail crime, residential burglaries. My understanding is we already had those task forces, although I'm not I'm pretty sure that we already have all those task forces.
Well, first of all, we don't want Hochman in Skid Row coming for photo ops, right? We don't need any of that, and we don't need him using our people in Skid Row as pawns to show how bad America is, right? Because the primary predators of Skid Row are the politicians, the policymakers. We had folks like even Weezer with our housing money in his closet, right? So, and this previous, this previous city council member from CD14, Kevin De Leon, right, trying to take power from black folks in the black community. So we don't want to hear any of his stuff. He better not come to Skid Row with that mess. We'll be waiting.
I want to go to Carl real quick here, but it also says he will vow to create advisory committees to create a bridge to the district attorney's office and give LA's communities a means to be heard. But those already exist.
Well, first of all, let's be clear.
You were on one of those.
I am on one of those. As of yesterday, I resigned, right, because I'm not working with this guy. But let's be clear. You already have your policies. You didn't ask the community about those policies.
Wow, that's a good point.
Right? You already have your policies. So what are those advisory boards for? What are they going to be advising you for?
To be heard but not implemented.
Exactly.
Carl from LA, you have the floor. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, to you and your guests. How's everything going? Hey, look, are they trying to find another Pete Wilson and another Arnold Schwarzenegger for California? How do we combat that if that's what they're trying to do? Can I get an answer?
Well, Schwarzenegger swore Hochman in yesterday, so I think you're onto something.
Yeah, they probably are, right? Again, same folks, right? Same thing, same story. Different time.
But I think people in the chat are giving you the amen on the local organizing piece, because to me, that's part of what avoids, despair or discouragement is local organizing.
Well, that's how we've been able to survive thus far. That's how we got. We didn't go out and advocate for Gascon. We just advocated to get the previous district attorney out because they were abusing our community. And we said, anybody but you got to go, right? And when we got Gascon, I want to be clear. I did not want to be on his advisory board. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. It was Clergy for Black Lives after a conversation. And even with our folks in the community, they were like, no, we think we think you should reconsider because it's going to be beneficial to our community, right? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And yesterday on my email after I resigned from the Interfaith Board, they said, well, Pastor Q, would really be great. We understand, but it would be great to have your voice. I'm like, you can have my voice from the outside. Because I don't want to be inside with this dude. I don't want to rub shoulders with white supremacists. I don't want to be talking to folks who don't love my people, right? You want to love one or two black people, but you don't love our people, right? And when you don't love our people, I take that seriously and personally.
Yeah. Well, time flies when you're on the radio, Pastor Q. I really appreciate you coming in, and I hope folks will step up and support Creating Justice at creatingjustice.la.
Yeah, and it's organize, survival, pending revolution. Let's go, y'all.
Where does it say that in the Bible? I'm just playing.
It does in so many ways.
For that, you'll have to go to church with Pastor Q. Look, I'm going to end with a Malcolm X quote because you brought him up a few times here. He says, you can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom.
Come on.
Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a great show on deck for you, a full lineup as usual, and we have some excellent stuff coming up tomorrow. Dr. Tyrone Howard will join me, and Fatima Iqbal Zubair, the head of the Progressive Caucus in the state of California. Don't forget to tap in with me on social media and with Pastor Q as well. He's at Creating Justice LA. I'm at DiPrima Radio, and we are at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. Like my mama, the late and great Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, be safe, be informed. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Kash Patel, Trump's FBI nominee, have also been targeted by foreign hackers recently. Cheng Hua-Wen, a Chinese